And with all of this in mind, we wanted to put together an extended report for you tonight, focusing on love, loss, and the human element in this entire debate.
Tonight, ABC Action News Full Circle reporter Michael Paluska sits down with a mother and father expecting their second child. Sadly, though, doctors say once born, that baby will likely only survive a few minutes. And because of Florida's current abortion ban, the mother tells us she couldn't make the medical choice she felt was right for her family.
I remember asking her, is my baby gonna live? She said, not without a kidney transplant.
Through a stream of tears, Deborah Dorbert talked to us about her baby, diagnosed with Potter syndrome, a fatal fetal abnormality.
How hard is it to know that when you go deliver, it's not going to be a joyous occasion? You told me you're planning a birth and a funeral all on the same day?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, we decided to do, after the baby comes, just comfort care, just wrapping the baby and just honestly holding it till it passes. And then this one's at 11 weeks and 6 days.
Deborah and her husband Lee's pregnancy started out healthy, the 11-week ultrasound full of joy, then excitement for the 23-week anatomy scan. A day before Thanksgiving to celebrate, she took her 4-year-old.
My son could see on the monitor the baby, and she was calling out his head, and my son was calling out the feet and the hands when he saw him in the face and was telling his baby. And then she looked to me and started asking me questions of saying that my amniotic fluid was low.
Then the ultrasound tech left the room to get the doctor.
Did he know something was wrong?
He knew something was wrong because Mommy was crying, and he's like, Mommy, it's okay.
Another doctor, another ultrasound confirmed their worst fear.
The one thing both of us are just sitting there waiting for her to say is, here's your kidneys. And she never said it. Really, that helpless feeling is really the worst feeling as a husband and as a father.
Lee tells me they decided as a family to terminate the emotional trauma and physical pain too much.
Did your doctors want to sign off?
Yeah, they wanted to, they were willing to support us. I don't even think the doctors, really understand why the attorneys are saying no.
So she had to also undergo through unnecessary suffering, not just mentally, but physically, because of this law.
Dr. David Berger is the Dorberts' family physician. He says the law is too vague.
Do I think that this law was written intentionally to punish this woman? Of course not. But you know what, when legislators start putting words on a piece of paper and then it gets signed by a governor, it is what it is. This is a perfect example of someone not having the foresight, not consulting with medical staff that could have potentially said, hey, you know what, there's this situation where a woman could end up having a fatal position after 15 weeks.
One of the doctors I interviewed said, I would hope that a politician has compassion, but if they write a law like this to begin with, they probably don't. Are politicians compassionate folks, or are politicians just trying to do what they want and don't care about other people?
No, I am very compassionate, very sensitive to the situation.
So you feel like, hey, this mom should have been able to terminate and not suffer and carry the baby to term?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. And that's why we put this exception into the bill.
Former state senator Kelly Stargell sponsored Florida's 15-week abortion ban. Signed into law last July, Stargell says the exemption is clear. If two physicians certify in writing that the fetus has a fatal fetal abnormality and has not reached viability, is incompatible with life outside the womb, and will result in death upon birth or imminently thereafter.
It's well written, and it's unfortunate that the hospital and the doctors are interpreting it the way that they are, because I think it's very clear.
Lakeland Regional Health sending us this statement saying it, quote, upholds the responsibility to care for each individual patient while abiding with all local, state, and federal laws. Does that bother you that people are scared to do what the law says? I mean, why is the law there if people are going to look at it and just be scared of our politicians?
Well, and that's nothing new. You see that all the time, where we will pass a law, and wherever the law is, whether it be business, whether it be a medical community, they draw the line, the city, they draw the line way back here, instead of just following the law.
I don't think politicians care. I think this is about control over people's bodies. I think that exceptions in abortion bans are a PR stunt. I don't think they're reality. I think that they put them in there and then doctors are afraid to utilize them.
Leah, who asked us not to use her last name to protect her family, tells me at 12 weeks, doctors diagnosed her baby with anencephaly, a serious birth defect in which a baby is born without parts of the brain and skull.
I was able to get my abortion a mile from my home.
Leah believes access to medical care, including the option to terminate, is the only reason she now has her 3 children.
I have zero guilt, I have zero regret. You know, I was able to get an abortion, and 2 months later, I got pregnant with my son. So I have a family because of my abortion. If I had been forced to carry to term a pregnancy, losing a child, I don't know what that would have done to my mental health, to my physical health, if I would have been able to be a mother after that.
Yes, of course, being pro-life, I would like the mom to carry to natural death.
Kathy DeSanto is a registered nurse, certified grief counselor, and runs Perinatal Comfort Care, a ministry of Catholic Charities. She tells me her faith has helped her deliver more than 150 babies with fatal abnormalities.
What is it like when a baby with Potter syndrome is delivered?
Those babies are absolutely beautiful. They are born looking very peaceful, very beautiful. It's a painful journey, don't get me wrong. I've cried with people, parents, grandparents, siblings. It's a terrible, horrible journey. Every baby should be honored. Every baby should have the dignity to be able to be comforted in the loving arms of their parents.
What was that feeling for you like, knowing that you were holding, your son, but he had already passed?
I've said this before and somebody else has said it to me. It's the most beautiful experience that I would not wish on to anybody.
Christelle Suarez knows there is life after loss. Her son, Oliver Felix Suarez, was born October 25th, 2012. Oliver was stillbirth. His picture hangs next to his siblings. His memory lives on in photo albums and in real life.
My promise to Oliver when I had him was that he will not be forgotten. So that was a promise I try to make true every day.
Every year they celebrate Oliver's birthday and raise money for various charities, enough for 2 cuddle cots so other mothers can hold their babies that pass just a little bit longer. Oliver had a rare disease too. It was DeSanto who convinced Suarez not to terminate.
When I got the diagnosis, they said, he wasn't going to make it very long. I was like, no brainer. We'll do the medical termination and we'll try to get pregnant again and it'll be fine. I think it would have been really hard if I would have had somebody else telling me that I can't.
Daily basis, I deal with physical and mental pain.
Pain only she can understand, and no matter anyone's opinion, this mom will lose her child, and in that moment, she's finally in control.
If there's anything me and my husband have focused on, and when it's born, is that it's loved. It will know love when it passes, and that's, all we want it to know is love. It won't know anything else but love, and that's all we can hope for and give it.
In Tampa with photojournalist Reed Moeller, Michael Paluska, ABC Action News.